I have my beef bones and discards at the bottom of my pot, browning them away to start my beef stock pot. And the first thing I do is go to a safe recipe. I can in pint jars, and this lets me know that I'm going to process in a pint jar 20 minutes in my pressure canner. It ain't hard, it's canning. And this is the safe canning book I'm using, and I have my cheat sheet ready. But these are gonna cook along on my stovetop for several hours today. Beef stock, gotta have plenty. And as most of you know who watch my channel, I always have vegetable discards frozen. So these are 2-gallon bags that I'm gonna use. Oh yeah, it ain't hard. And this was basically just discards, would have gone in the marsh or my garbage. Onions, celery, it's in there. And these are bones that I have accumulated. So I am making beef stock from what would have been discarded. So I like to save $1. You can do these in your oven if you want, then put them in your stock pot. I don't do that. I just don't care to do that. So this is what I'm doing. So my bones are where they want them, and I've been very careful not to let the bits on the bottom burn. I've added a small amount of water and made sure that I can scrape up the bottom, and that happened very easily. So now I'll add some water from my pot filler, and then we'll add our vegetable discard bags. Easy peasy. So I have turned my heat up to about medium. I have about 2 inches of water in there. And my vegetable bags are frozen, and they will release a lot of liquid in here. That is bag 1. Bag 2. Ooh, get all them onion skins. Thank you. Give me some beautiful color to my broth. Now I'm just going to push this down. It ain't hard. And this is the beginning of our beef broth. So this will sit here and process away 3 to 6 hours, whatever I'm in the mood for. Here we go. The beginning. And there went my spoon. Huh. So here we are, 45 minutes into this. And you'll see how much liquid those frozen vegetables released. And you will see this color vividly change over the next hours. I love making any kind of broth, from turkey carcasses, chicken carcasses, bones, anything. And beef broth I particularly like, so I'm quite excited to be doing this. I have turned my pot up to medium, and now I have my lid on, cattywampus, and the fan on over my vent hood. Easy peasy. So our broth is done, and it is a beautiful and righteous thing. Now look at the color. I'm going to strain it through a sieve, and we are going to get to canning. It ain't hard. I have told you many times that canning is not hard. Filming canning or videoing canning is hard. So I've attempted to set this up in a way. This is an old pitcher that I use only for this. Let's see. This is a little colander. I then place a cheesecloth, a food grade cheesecloth, and then we are going to ladle our broth through this. So let's see if I can show you at least a bit of doing that. Oh, look how pretty. And it is messy, so I have a large bowl underneath this in case I miss the colander part. Hey, it happens. So I'm going to go ahead and strain this, and this pitcher makes it very easy to pour this hot broth into my hot jars. That went with no calamity. So I have my canner warmed because this is a hot jar and we're putting hot liquid in it. Next hot jar, get our funnel back on here. Let's nail again our 1 inch head space. I've already checked the rims of my jars. They are sterile and there are no chips on them. Let me poke a Joe. Just for grins. A little bit more and we'll nail it. Yes. Our 1 inch is spot on, so let's wipe down the rim of our jar so that the compound on our 4 jars can adhere to that with no interruptions, nothing stuck on there, so that we can get a good seal. And those vegetables that we used, all of our stock scraps from my freezer, they have nothing left to give, so they are gonna get dumped in my marsh where all my little bait fish and crabs can nibble on them. Let's pokey Joe. I lay my pokey Joe over on a paper plate. Little bit more. There we go again. Get our warm lid on here. We wipe down with vinegar. Limp wrist. Oh, this jar hot. Let me get it in my canner. And this is one of my Orchard Road jars that I absolutely love. It's beautiful. Doesn't have much writing on it. And y'all know I swear that 4 jars did a little hanky-panky with the Orchard Road and got that recipe before they went out of business, because these are never fail lids, never fail. So we have 7 pints of glorious beef broth, and looking at our cheat sheet, we're gonna process this for 20 minutes. My area is 10 pounds, but first I gotta bring it up to temperature. All right, I am still waiting on my canner, but it is pushing some air out and getting really hot. I have my cheat sheet ready, so once my vent lock cover comes up, I will vent this for 10 minutes. Just follow your steps. It ain't hard, it's just canning some righteous beef stock. Starting to jiggle, jiggle, jiggle now. In any moment, it will pop up. So not hard, just a presto canner. And I loves it, had it since 2012. Jiggle, 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 little vent lock cover. There we go, our vent lock cover is up, and now I'm gonna time 10 minutes as a steady stream of steam comes out of my vent pipe. It ain't hard. Alrighty, our 10-minute timer went off, and I'm choosing to use the weighted pressure gauge. So now I'm gonna watch my dial gauge come up, and then my little dooflotchie will start to do the hula, and I will process these for 20 minutes. And once it reaches that desired pressure, I'll write that time down on my cheater sheet or reminder sheet, and I'll set a timer. It ain't hard, it's just canning beef stock. Alrighty, we have lift off. I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes, and again, write down the time on my little reminder sheet. Easy peasy. And you'll get to know your stove on where to put your burner. Mine happens to be slightly to the left of low towards medium, and it'll hold this pressure for me. But you'll find your own sweet spot on your dial of your stove. Righty then, our timer just went off for 20 minutes. And the question for you is, what do you do now? Right now that the timer went off, you don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Turn your burner off Don't pull off your weighted gauge. Don't try to force that down. Don't open your canner. Don't move your canner. Don't do nothing. Your dial gauge will go down to 0 on its own, and then you still wait 5 to 10 minutes. Then you can take off your weighted pressure gauge. And by then, guess what will have happened? Your vent lock cover will have dropped down. Then you'll open it and take out your jars. So the answer to the question is, what do you do after your process time is done? Not a darn thing. Don't do nothing but turn off the burner. Thank you. So here are my 7 glorious pints. And when you take them out the canner, do not turn your canner at all. Like one of them had some water on the top. Don't address it at all. Leave it alone. Don't mess with your jars. They'll sit here overnight. And tomorrow I will check them to make sure they have sealed. And it'll all be good in my beef brothy marshmallows hood. I love to can. This was all discards. Beef discards, vegetable discards, and I turned it into something fabulous that I can keep on my pantry shelves and save money. And it is fabulous and full of flavor.